So hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. I wanted to make a video today to talk about the difference between the energies of certainty and arrogance. And what's prompted this was the other day we were working with a client on retreat, and we shared a video with them of a teacher, and we asked the client to watch it over lunch. Now, the teacher's quite well known and he's got a very big heart. I've known him personally for over 20 years. And I've watched his practice grow over time. And when our client came back, I asked her what she made of it, and she said she hadn't finished watching it. And I asked her why, and she said that she thought he was a little arrogant, which was interesting as I've never had that reaction to that video before. Now, what followed from it was an interesting conversation we had about the difference between certainty and arrogance, and why this person had been triggered by this video. Something I want to say is that this teacher is definitely what I would call certain. You know, he shares his lived experience and what he sees with a real power, and it's unapologetic, it's not shrunk down, it's clear, it's definite. But he's not someone who puts others down particularly or disrespects different perspectives. Far from it, in fact. And that, to me, is the difference between clear certainty and arrogance. Arrogance needs someone else to be smaller as part of its energy. But we mustn't blur arrogance with a sense of clear certainty either. And from what I see, clear certainty is also necessary to create results. It's like an unadulterated belief in something that's been lived, that's unshrunk and unredacted. But it's also the creator power within us, right? That's the part of us that knows that anything is possible, and that within us is a creative force that's actually extremely powerful. And if you think about it, you know, you're not going to build a successful business or a goal if you weren't sort of certain of your ability to do so. And it reminds me, you know, the other day we were running a webinar, and we were actually asked on that webinar if belief was necessary to heal. And that puzzled me, because why would you try to heal without belief in the possibility? Because even things like the placebo effect, right, show us that some interesting things about this. So when someone becomes certain that healing is possible, the body can shift out of fight or flight and into a very different internal environment. My own research with chronic fatigue explored how these shifts in belief and perception can actually influence the body's environment for healing. And emerging fields like epigenetics show or suggest that our internal states can actually influence our gene expression. So certainty is a really powerful force. And if you begin to cultivate a feeling of certainty around a vision, and you align your head with your whole nervous system, with the feeling of that certainty that something is not only possible, it's actually safe. Well, now your consciousness can start to filter reality to be able to show you things that are actually in alignment with that vision. But that feeling of certainty is what anchors that vision. And if you don't cultivate it in relation to your vision, it's actually likely you're going to create so-so results. So from what I see, yeah, there's a line where certainty becomes arrogance. And that line is delineated where certainty is powered by defensiveness or superiority. Then it becomes arrogant. And sure, there's a lot of that in the world. But we've got to be careful that that line is not blurred so much that we start dismissing certainty as actually a legitimate, a necessary, and a powerful state. And when we went back and reflected on this with our client, you know, and we asked her why was she triggered? Well, the real reason was because she's powerful. She knows things, you know, valuable things, which could really make a difference to the world, but she wasn't sharing them because she didn't want to seem arrogant. And that's that line being blurred again. She'd innocently confused certainty with arrogance, and this was stopping her from showing the world what she sees. So my question to you today is this: where are you doing this? Where are you not allowing yourself to become certain? not allowing yourself to fully believe in a possibility. Are you worried that you're going to come across as arrogant if you do that? Well, the truth is you might, right? You can't avoid that. There's always that risk. And particularly with people who are used to you shrinking, they might be triggered. And your job is to check that there isn't defensiveness or superiority in what you share, because then you are crossing the line with arrogance. But be careful not to throw out the energy of certainty, because from what I see, it's necessary for creation. And if you dismiss it, you're not fully embracing your creative power. You're shrinking. And nobody ever creates anything from that place. So yeah, I hope this was helpful for you. Feel free to share below what this triggered for you. And if it's benefited you in any way, please do share it. And in the meantime, I'm sending lots of love. Take care. Bye.